rickbutts.com.
That's going to leave a mark.
Had discovered in this ancient book that was more than 100 years old, and I thought that the text of it was so valuable as a kickoff. I'm going to break one of my own rules here, and I'm actually going to read something because I believe that I just believe that this is something that will be needed for someone on the call and certainly for me at any given point in my life. Let me put my spectacles on, and I want to read this text from you. This is called The Treasure of the Mind. Your mind or thinking process is the starting point of any significant success you will ever know. If it is muddled, cloudy, and fraught with the baggage of lies and negativity from your past, you are doomed to live inside a blueprint of a circle of unhappiness, always expecting the worst and being unsurprised at its predictable arrival. Like an ox at the threshing wheel, you will continue to walk the same sad path over and over without knowing any better. You need to understand right now it is not entirely your fault that you're here at this particular point on the map of life. You've undoubtedly been helped to arrive at your current state by misguided and unwitting accomplices. It is, however, imperative that you realize clearly that you need not remain. Each fall, as the days begin to grow short, the bird will answer the call of the Creator to take wing and head south. When the winter begins to subside, he will turn north again and grace the northern latitudes with his announcement of springtime. When the fall comes, he will do it all over again. He has no choice. He is a physical machine of God's nature. You are not a bird. You can totally change your life forever starting today. And the only reason it will stay the same is if you choose not to change. This text is from a book called The Safari Chronicles, Volume 1 by Rick Butts, originally titled The Safari Adventure Company. This text was from a book within the book. If you have read this book already, you know that my first book I used to become successful as a speaker was a fiction parable. I'd gotten the idea from Og Mandino and from reading Spencer S. Johnson's Yes or No, The Guide to Better Decisions, the first fiction business parable that I'd ever read or seen. And to this day, I try to read that book at least once a year. Yes or No, The Guide to Better Decisions by Dr. Spencer S. Johnson. And I decided to pursue this. And I'm telling you what it is that I'm telling you about this, one, because I thought that was pretty inspirational to remind ourselves again of the fact that we can change, we can make choices, and that to remain the same is truly a choice. And especially now, I mean, we don't live 500 years ago where our choices were so much more limited. We live now where choices are many, and we have opportunities abundant, and we get so locked into the way things have been or operating because someone else is influenced in this direction, or the momentum of mediocrity to just remain the same and not irritate others by our ambitions and success. And I just wanted to give that to everybody. Everybody in this group, I know you. I know who you are. This is not an audience of 1,000. I know you, and I know you have tremendous potential. You have the ability to change the lives of people in your world, and you will. And it's my job, that I consider my job, to give you the best equipment and tools to get that job done based on my own honest experience. So that's what I give you here. I don't go fabricate stuff. I don't do research and come up with 10 new apps for your iPhone. I mean, if I do, I do, but that's not congruent with my essential imperative for why I do this work and what I've tried to sell you on coming here to be a part of the work you do with me. And the other thing I want to share with you is it is possible to reframe your content in such a way as to make it new, fresh, exciting, and different. We have spent a great deal of time in the wisdom thesis work and in the work that we do in developing our stuff, you know, because I have really tried to make the big, loud noise that it is essential that you have a unique solution for an identifiable group of people with money, and that the unique solution becomes this efficient mechanism for getting the attention of your audience. And it occurred to me today that it was really important that I share with you the bigger picture, and to admit if I've caused this, and to expand our thinking and to say that this is not the end of our game, as marketers, it is certainly not the end of our game as content creators. It is absolutely imperative that we create really good, solid, thorough, comprehensive, and utterly useful content. And I think that perhaps it would be possible to hear some pieces of what I've been teaching and say that all Rick's interested in doing is helping you get in the door. And there are people that spend their whole lives with the get in the door part, and there just really is no there there. There's nothing beyond this image. And this is unfortunate for everyone who buys their stuff, and I just won't tolerate it in my own philosophy for us. So while there are, it's impossible to make any money in today's market if you can't get anyone's attention. So it's essential. You must do this. But on the other end, the work that you do with the wisdom thesis provides you with a grid, a formula, a narrative, and an abundance of vocabulary and topics, fail points and solutions and answers to expand your thinking about your current market and about how to help the people in your market. If you ever get stuck in how to move forward in your work, just look at some dimension of your work, run the wisdom thesis model on it. If you're dealing with massage therapists in the Pacific Northwest and you're trying to figure out how to help them move forward and they have a problem on managing their money, go back and look. What is the existing system for how this group of people manages their money, and then move through the fail point. And then because you have attached yourself to an identifiable group of people, you're able to actually provide solutions for them using this formula. So I want it said here, as clear as a bell, I believe that the way to get rich in this business, or the way to at least have a sustainable high income, economic income, I'm not crazy about the word rich, as you well know, but how to really do well and be successful is to create systems that can be duplicated, to create duplicatable systems. And I spoke with two people in the last week who called me, and we did consulting sessions around helping them with their business. And of course, I've invited people by my own narrative and by the wisdom thesis to talk about your book, your buzzy book, or your keynote speech, or your marketing and your message. But then behind that, I had to slow them down and say, hey, how are you making money with this? Where's the cash button on this? And with one individual particularly, he had set down the path of doing training seminars and workshops, and I've got a great deal of experience at going out and selling training cold, finding a company that has a need, doing a needs analysis, then using a certain set of words to frame it up so you can come back and do consulting and actually do workshops and training. So, and his stuff is great. It's perfect for it. It's buzzy, it's interesting, and it's got real deliverable value. But once we got beyond the, can I sell this to one person, I told him what you're going to run into is you're going to get booked up and you're going to be too busy. And your course then is either to raise your fee or scale what you do in some other way, and that would be to consider training the trainer. His particular area is using improvisational theater to teach inside training kind of stuff, to teach stuff to team building, communication, conflict resolution, stress management, all those imperatives that they need in a company environment. And I think you'll do really, really well with it. But I thought, there's probably a lot of improv people around who love improv and they're not making any money on it. What if you could show them a way to deliver the seminars you already figured out because you're a wisdom thesis graduate, you're a trainer, and you've got the sales and marketing end of it. This is called a clue. So there's a lot of people that know how to do the work and don't know how to sell it. This is true of any group, graphic artists, writers, many folks who have the talent to do the work and then don't necessarily have the momentum or, basic ideas. So you, with your catalytic companion training and wisdom thesis stuff, can go out and get customers and then think about how can I leverage my ability to get customers. I spent some time helping my daughter, Rachel Strode Butts, to scale her business. She's a WordPress child theme designer and she got into she was selling so much she had to start laying the work off to designers and other people. So she was at the point where I said, you might have to think about turning your site over to being simply a referral source, like one of these other done-for-you sites or even, guru.com or one of these. And that's the idea. I'm asking you to think about developing your real content. Let it be said here and now that the end of the game is not creating a buzzy book. The end of the game is not creating a killer keynote speech. This is the beginning of a game. But If you do this the right way, using the wisdom thesis model, your system will have integrity from top to bottom. So when I finished the wisdom thesis training last week, I had said that what you want to be able to do is to have this authentic, consistent money funnel, this system that says the first words that I hear out of your mouth in an introduction that leads to an interview on the radio, on a show, a program, television, or interview with you before you give a speech or whatever. We ought to know from your introduction, right through your presentation, right through your close, right through the marketing materials that are available after, the content, the first piece we pick up, whether that's your special report to download from a name squeeze off of the website or whatever it is. These things are consistently drawing upon the same themes. And when we look at what a customer actually wants to buy and give us money for, it's to solve their problem. So languaging our unique solution is essential, but once we've languaged our unique solution, we need to be able to actually have a complete and comprehensive solution there at the end. That's why I have and will be throughout the rest of this year creating new versions of the Speaker Machine, the Buzzy Book, the Stardust Factor, How to Fill Your Speaking Calendar in 7 Days, and even lo and behold, I bought InternetMarketingSpeaker.com. I also bought ProSpeakingSystem.com, and I intend to put full-blown ClickBank, sellable, affiliate-ready products on those sites that I can use my full model lead gen. So I'm consistently using the idea of the wisdom thesis, not just to create some flash in the pan, but and not just to go, hey, I was a bestseller on Amazon for 8 minutes in my tiny little, it doesn't matter. I am so perturbed at the bestseller thing, I just want to choke somebody. I mean, really, I want to just call people out. This is me ranting now, okay? When I see somebody list best-selling author on their website, I want to go, well, at what? What category? When? How long? How many books have you sold? A bestseller is giving an impression to someone that a lot of people bought your book. But today, bestseller can be a technical success that you had with an email campaign, and it lasted a few hours, and nobody wants your book. Your book doesn't sell at all, but you get to put best-selling author on there and fool people into paying you for your stuff. That's my humble but accurate opinion. There's got to be another way. There's got to be a better way. But maybe we say that for another day. The fact is, you don't need to convert the world. You don't need to sell everybody. All you need to make the income that you want, run the numbers. X number of clients times X number of dollars per year. How much money do you need to make? We used to think about dominating the market. You're not Coke. You're not Pepsi. You're not trying to convert to be number one. There is no number one in the genre that we're in most cases. We're simply trying to be successful and effective and reach people, and you'll reach more people by being honest and real and authentic and being able to let your work move from hand to hand because it's good, not because it had a funny name. All right, that's the world according to Rick. So I hope you got this really, really clearly. You can change. You change by changing your choices, change your life. And you can create valuable content with the matrix that we've created and developed here, and I encourage you to do so. And guess what? Here's the little secret. I've always got like a little extra sauce to add on. I would hope that's when you do have your significant, substantial system behind your buzzy stuff. Your buzzy stuff is so powerful when you talk about it, because you're not just talking about some hack. Hack is not the right word. You haven't just tricked the marketing system to get interviews. You actually have something important to say, something valuable. There really is a there. And when you go forward in this format, you've got so much more to offer, and it adds an extra level of passion and seriousness. And guess what? When you get beyond the 7 interview questions and people really begin to ask you, to grill you about your work, you're really able to answer those questions. Remember, one of the characteristics of the wise person, of the wisdom person, is the ability to be able to answer unique questions from unique individuals and give them the appropriate advice. So somebody comes to me and I'm new, I'm just getting started in this, Rick. The answer to how to start as a speaker today is not the same answer as it was to how to start becoming a speaker 10 years ago. It's just not. It's different. We're not using VHS tape for one thing. There's a whole different format, but the essential core skills of an effective presentation, they're the same as they've always been, modified somewhat for the delivery methods, digital and wireless, iPhones and that. But a good speaker is a good speaker. I was going around selling tickets to see Tom Hopkins, and we went to this meeting. It was down in Texas, and me and myself and another individual who sold tickets, we would go with each other in the evening, watch each other give a speech, encourage each other. And remember, I was 100% commission. I had to sell a ticket to see Tom Hopkins to feed my family. So we would get booked into all these different type of sales meetings, and one of the things that we would get from time to time would be MLM groups. So I've spoken to everybody from Avon to Tupperware to every kind of Amway or long distance vitamin, herbs, and supplements. But we got into a group in Texas of A.L. Williams salespeople. And I don't know if A.L. Williams is still around, but this company's essential marketing idea was buy term and invest the difference, BTID. So they would get people to convert their whole life policy, the whole life insurance policy, to a term policy, and then invest the difference. And they had a model to show you how you were going to make a lot more money investing in the market at a market return rate than you would on the rate from permanent life insurance. Anyway, that was their model. And we got to give our presentation at the end of their quote-unquote opportunity meeting. So my friend Mike and I were sitting in the back of the room, and they popped in a tape of A.L. Williams. And A.L. Williams, I don't know, I guess we should look him up on YouTube, very Southern, very Zig Ziglar, and he, on this tape, he was burning down the house. He was absolutely passionate, on fire. His stories were consistent. His message was consistent. There was no, well, maybe it's a good idea. It was just this powerful, convincing, persuasive, important, timely message with a sense of urgency, delivered in a cadence like Les Brown. I mean, having all of those things line up and fly together with you, it's not just about the information, and it's not just about the style. The very best speakers combine the substance and the style with this power and passion, and the performance transcends any kind of performance. It simply becomes an experience. And if I can sum this up in the best way possible is take everything that you do in your business, in your life, everyone I'm listening to, Martin, Sonia, Vicki, Ryan, take everything that you do and combine it together into this experience so that when you're in the room, the user has an experience. And I really believe that's the key. I really believe that that's at the soul, at the core of what we do. The information, is it important? Yes. Accurate, authentic, honest, timely. Of course. Is the presentation important? By all means. If you've got something important to say it well, and more people will hear you and listen and like it, and it will have the transfer of enthusiasm that moves that person from where they are now to somewhere to move them forward, to help them. You may well be the best speaker someone in that audience has ever heard, and you may be that person that changes someone's life because you did your work and did the prep. I firmly believe that more important than who I am, more important than my prep, my attitude, my stage mechanics, any of that, is that I create an experience in that moment. And that experience has the power to reward me financially and to truly, truly change the world.
rickbutts.com. That's going to leave a mark.